the locked in backyard story. I have chased downstairs by angry dog story, and I have showed an apartment with tenant in the shower story.
Okay. Welcome back for another Derek discussion. Third round, talking about a lot of comical and hilarious and interesting facts and stories that Josh has today. About how many stories you got?
I got 3 or 4 off the top of my head for you today.
Please do tell me them now.
Sure. The first one that comes to mind is I was showing, it's a great guy. He was an Air Force captain, and he was looking for a house to move into. He was working at some hospital in Boston. And we were looking at a number of houses, and one of them had a really nice backyard. And we had the lockbox, so we put the key in the front door, go in, set the story up. I always put the key very close to where the lockbox is because you're busy, you're liking the house, you're taking pictures, you're showing it to your clients, and it's so easy to just keep that key in your pocket and like run off. It happens all the time. So I always keep it right by the door. So I at least remember to have it in the property, even if I forget to put it in the lockbox. Anyway, we go outside, beautiful backyard, and I don't realize that the door to the backyard locks behind us. So we're looking around, we're trying to get back inside, and the door's not opening, and the key's just on the other side of that door. So for whatever reason, this backyard didn't have a way to get out. Like, it didn't have like a side gate or like a back gate or anything. It was like a completely closed in backyard. So ultimately we had to like find a short part of this gate, and he and I had to just hop over this front gate. And he was in much better shape than I was. So he felt really bad. He was telling me, oh no, I'll get you, I'll go inside with you. And I was like, no, I don't know if we can even get back into the front door. So I have to come with you anyway. So that was a funny story because, you know, how often do you have to jump gates with your clients if you're not breaking into a property? Long story short, we did not take that property. He wound up taking a great property in West Roxbury. That was much nicer. And the backyard had a gate.
Yeah.
My second story, so a lot of places when you rent apartments, you don't really know what the tenants in the building are going to be like. They could be very nice, they could be awful, you know. So we were in an apartment, I think this is probably in Dorchester, I think.
Okay, so Doc.
And beautiful apartment, you know, the landlord had just renovated first floor, you know, so it had the nice shiny countertops, no one had ever lived in it. But the tenant on the second floor had wanted to try and get the landlord to reduce the rent so that his friends or his relatives could move in, but they couldn't afford what the rent was at the price that the landlord wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So it turns out that every time this guy, anytime someone would show the property, he would just leave his back door open and this seemingly very angry dog would start running down the stairs at you. So we're showing the apartment, and my client is terrified of dogs. She even said that. She's like, I don't want to, you know, nowhere with dogs. I didn't know this, of course. I would never have brought her to the property. But so we get to the back, and I'm like, oh, let's see if a lot of times the laundry's in the basement. So we go out the back door, and it leads you to that like stairway in the back of most triple-decker apartments. That you can go to the basement, and maybe go out to your back porch.
Right.
And all of a sudden, charging down the stairs, barking, was this angry dog. And I love dogs, so I was taken aback.
I do too.
I've had pit bulls, I've had large dogs, I've had small dogs. She was terrified of dogs, so I had to like get in between this dog and her, and like our back was to the back door stairwell, and there wasn't like another way to like get anywhere. So like the back door was already kind of open to the stairwell, and I was like, just start going downstairs, and I'm like, hey puppy, hey dog,
Distracted. Yes.
like hey, very friendly, trying to like make friends with this dog, and I don't think that the dog would have hurt us. Like I don't like. If she would have heard us, she would have heard us immediately, right? Like she was just kind of growling, but I was like, hi. And so finally I get into the basement and I shut the door. So now we're in this dark basement. And we're like, oh, okay, well, what do we do? Because this now dog is on the other side of the door and is barking and clawing at this door, and she's not going that way. So we have to kind of like, we take our cell phone lights out, we're like exploring this basement, and I find like one of these half doors. So like in older buildings, basements have to have two methods of getting out, just like a fire safety rule. But it doesn't have to have like a full size door. It could have the storm doors that open up, the ones that you see like on the outsides that kind of fold open with the stairs, or you can have a half door, and it's like 4 feet tall and it's maybe the size of a large window.
Right.
And that was all covered with spiders, and it was disgusting. Nobody ever uses that door. I doubt that door was ever opened.
I can tell.
So we had to I finally find how to open this door, and we opened the door, and she didn't mind spiders, but I'm terrified of spiders. So it took me 5 minutes to
adjust.
I was like, do I go through the spiders or do I go through the dog? I didn't know which was worse. So finally I found a stick, and I'm getting the stick with the spiders. And we get out. So that was always fun. Suffice it to say, I didn't work with her again, and she didn't take that apartment. She didn't blame it on me, but I think she was just kind of terrified. I gave her a bad experience, that she just remembered, and she never wanted to deal with me again because it was
Indiana Jones escape right there.
It was it would always be, I would always remind her of this terrifying dog experience. So yeah. Other things. So, a lot of times when you do showings, you talk to another agent or the landlord, and you never even contact the tenant. You just assume that the other party has done their job and has, contacted them, let them know you're coming. And you pick up keys, or there's a lockbox or something where you don't even have to contact the tenant at all. And 9 out of 10 times, the tenants aren't there. They know you're coming. They just go out of the house. They take a walk. They do some errands. They don't really want to be there while you're there. So we get into this house, and it's a nice apartment somewhere in a college area, maybe Fenway.
Okay.
And basement unit. And you always have to knock very strongly. Hi, this is Josh with Popular Properties. I'm coming in. We have an appointment. It's part of the job. You just have to let them know that you're doing that. And we go in, and we're like, no one's here, which is fine. I leave my business card, and we're looking around. My tenant's like, what's this door? I'm like, I don't know what this door is. Let's check it out. The door's locked. And as you can hear, the woman or man, I think it was a woman because that's what the clothing indicated who lived there. She was in the shower the whole time that we were in her apartment. And I mean, it's not really a funny story if you think about it's funny to think about how this woman could have 4 strangers walking through her apartment, and she had no clue. I don't even know if she knew we were ever there. I left my business card. So I let her know we were there, and I told the agent, but it's just funny to think she was just in the shower. This is completely unaware. It's like a horror movie. So horror movies can happen. And then I guess, just other funny oddities is, you always have to tell the clients, you don't know what you're walking into. So I've walked into places that, smell like a Willie Nelson concert, and it's weed paraphernalia everywhere. Mostly college kids. I've walked into apartments where people are having sex in the bedroom. I've walked into apartments where people are naked in the and they know I'm coming. So it's just a little, it's funny when you're there.
They're pretty off for timing, huh?
Yeah, it's like they don't remember, or they don't care.
Stick to a schedule.
Yeah, I mean, real estate's just, you can have a lot of funny antics in real estate, and everyone is different. So those were my kind of funny stories that I remembered.
All right. Well, that wraps up today. Stay tuned for another episode of Popular Properties. Thanks again, Josh.
Thank you, Derek.
Take care, fans.
All right, that was good.